Hello everybody. Today we're going to be revamping an old Halloween wreath that has gone through about 3 seasons now. Every year I add to this wreath to make it more interesting. I started out with an old faded green Christmas wreath and I spray painted it with black Rustoleum paint, the 2x brand. And then I used some Dollar Tree decorations. This year I'm adding black and gray soot colored maple leaves, and just to give it some more dimension. And I purchased these last year from Amazon. These came vacuum packed and they stored very well over the year. If I can find the brand, I'll link it in the description box below. But I'm just going to get these opened up. And there's a lot more of them in here than you think. They're all tightly packed, and there's just a ton of them. And they've got some nice texture on the front. And they've got, a texture on the back also that you can see pretty well. And what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to mix some paint, and I'm going to try to establish a soot type look and go with different dimensions of grays. And I'm using the Dollar Tree Acrylology white paint and the Joann's Craft Essentials black. And I'm just going to give this a good shake. I always pour this away from me because sometimes it's a bit thin and it spatters, but I like it because it's thin. And I'm going to put our black on here, and we'll do some mixing with our Dollar Tree sponge brushes. And looks like I'm going to need a little bit more white here. Yeah, it's going to be more of a lighter gray than a darker gray. And we'll just get that all mixed up. And now that I've got my gray color mixed up, I'm gonna do kind of a dry sponging technique, I guess. So just get some paint off. And then I'm going just putting some pressure on the edges because I want them to have a little bit of lighter of a look there. And here I'm just figuring the best way to do this. I think if I would have sealed these with Mod Podge or something first, it would have been a little bit easier for me. But, it's just one of those learning experiences that you're just experimenting and finding the best way. Here I go completely over the leaf itself and then just touching. So I'm attempting to make a lighter color leaf here. And just a little bit more towards the edge. And then our next leaf, I just touched all around with the tip. All right, and as these dried, that's the way they dried. They dried very, very light. And I was able to make that one, very, very light. And I was looking for about 3 or 4 dimensions of leaves so that I had 3 or 4 different colors. But as I was, drawing these, they were just drying very still dark. The paint wasn't holding, and it was probably because I didn't seal them before. So lesson learned on that. And they're just real opaque. But I think what I'll do here is I'll just get out my Waverly chalk paint, and that chalk paint should be able to, now that we have them sealed a little bit with the other paint, maybe this chalk paint will make a difference here. So I just went around with my chalk paint and made the different colors and the different levels of gray, and it seemed to work out a lot better this way. And then I just collected them into this pile over here, and I'm pulling them out just to show you the differences in the levels. And there is about 3 or 4 different levels. And then I actually took some of the very black leaves without paint, and I used those for that 4th level of color. But I like the way that they came out. I think the chalk paint really made the big difference. And it probably could be that, just if they were sealed and I used the chalk paint, that could have been really what did it overall, instead of all the other mixing of the paint. but I really do like the way the different levels of color came out, and I think that's going to add some dimension for us. On the wreath, I have these pumpkins that I got from Dollar Tree. They're the ones with the hard outside, and I think they're foamy inside. And I painted them white. I painted the stem gold, and I've attached them with a pipe cleaner, or I think you could call them chenille stems, and hot glued that in. And this bow, I happened to be walking out of Michael's, and it was sitting there alone on the shelf, marked down to under $2. It was at the end of the season, so I usually get stuff like that. And these apples are from Amazon. I couldn't find them at Dollar Tree, and I just painted them this red because I wanted them to look kind of fake and like the poisonous apples. The witch's hat is just from Dollar Tree, and I glued one of the eyeballs on it. And I like it because it's tinsely. And this ribbon is from Etsy. I got this last year, and what I've done is taken another one of the pipe cleaners and attached that in. I just cut a loop and attached into my wreath. This guy every year seems to separate and fall apart, so I glued him with some Dollar Tree glue and let it sit overnight, and then I glued it with hot glue. And now what I'm doing is I have a floral wire, and I'm just attaching it to the wreath so that he doesn't ever escape again from the wreath. He just always seems to be on the ground. When I open the door, he'll be on the ground. But this way we're going to attach it tight as we can and get it all fastened in and situated. That's a perfect spot for that eyeball. And next what we'll be doing is we're gonna place some of these leaves, and normally what I'll do is I'll place about 4 or 5 of them, maybe 6, and I'll get them in place and get them situated. And then when I like them, when I like the way it looks, I'll hot glue them into place just a little bit at a time. And it's very relaxing. I also forgot to tell you about her legs. They're from Dollar Tree also, and you see them pretty much every year. I think I even saw them this year. And what I did was I opened up the back seam towards the very top, and I stuffed these with some old pillow stuffing that I had. And then the legs itself are on a plastic ring, and I just attached them with one of the pieces of the wreath. And then it has this kind of little black tulle little skirt in front of it. But I opened the seams in the back, and then I just hot glued those seams back together when I stuffed her legs. Her legs were typically flat every year, but I wanted them to have some dimension, so I did that last year. And but it's been a work in progress, and every year it seems to evolve, and I just love the way that it looks every year. But we're gonna put these leaves on and give it even more dimension and more depth to the wreath. It looked as if some of the leaves were just disappearing into the wreath. So what I decided to do was just take them and put them near something, near the ornament, and under it, so that it would show better. And I did that around. I did the rose and the different ornaments. And towards the bottom, I got into this bottlenecking area. I seem to box myself in sometimes. And what the issue here was there was a lot of hot glue from the previous ornaments that I put in. So what I did was I just separated the branches out. I took my time and I looked through everything and I just placed them in. And you know, this can be a very relaxing and therapeutic you know, craft, because you know, you take your time and you just sort of get into your groove and just relax. And you know, if something gets to be a little bit too much, you just take a step back, take a little break. There's no need to have any stress in crafting. But here we are with the leaves, and I really think that that added the dimension that we need, and it, you know, made such a difference in the wreath. And I have a chenille, piece of chenille that I got from Dollar Tree, and I made this sign, and this sign is my first attempt, and I messed up the back there, but it's my first attempt in sublimation on wood. And I used those Scotch thermal vinyl sheets, and I did have on the back, I already had a sign from a couple years ago, and it got faded and everything, and it was Mod Podged and all that, and it just got caught up in the heat process there, and I had paper behind it that wasn't butcher paper, so it really just stuck. But I left it. I wouldn't do that if I was going to give it to someone, or if I was going to sell it. I would just, you know, get that paper off, sand it off, and then paint it gold. The sign is gold itself, because what I did was I just sublimated on the back, you know, just until I learn. I can sublimate on existing signs that I have. And here what I'm doing too is I'm just getting this knot put into place with the chenille, because I love the way the chenille looks, but it's very thin. So I'm making sure that that's taut and that it fits, and I'll just get it a little bit more you know, a bigger knot there, and it's just an overhand knot is really what it is. And then here this trying to get it into the other side is tricky, so I'm going to take some tape and just wrap the tape around the end, and then that'll give it, you know, kind of like a shoelace type effect there. And then I can wrap that and get it into the slot, hopefully. And when I sublimated and when I put the thermal laminate sheet on, I did try to cut a spot through, and it did work a little bit, but it still was a little crispy in there, so it gave me a little bit of a hard time. So I'm just using my tool to see if I can get a little bit more space. I even sanded the inside of it too, so I just think that I probably need a little bit bigger of a file to file those areas out like that. But there's our sign, and what I'll do is I'm just going to attach it, and we'll get it. Let's see, maybe this is let's see if we can maybe get this knot a little bit larger, because it just felt like it was going to pull through. When I heated the thermal laminate sheets onto the wood, I may have had it a little bit too hot, and some of the edges of the sign did get wrinkled. So what I did was I went around the sign with brown paint, and that covered it up. And here what I'm doing is I have attached the chenille, another piece of chenille through the loop of the sign, and then onto that one of those metal rings in the back. And I'm just doing bows and overhand knots just to get it secured into place. And you know, that should keep it you know, nice and into place. And I love the way the sign came out. I think what, you know, I learned a lot, and I think what I would have done differently is maybe make that you know, brown. I would make it more of a soot color, because that's kind of what I'm going for, is this you know, soot, like it fell out of the chimney type of look, and it's, you know, old. So I decided to add a little bit of extra dimension to the wreath, and I really wanted some, you know, I'm going to put it outside of my front porch, so I wanted some kind of glow in the dark type of look for at night, because at night you can't see anything. But during the day it had to have a good aesthetic as well. So that was kind of something I was struggling with. But what I did to get that glow in the dark look without paint or anything was I bought these ping pong balls from Dollar Tree, and they usually have them hanging up in the aisles, like in the kids section, the toy section actually. And I've cut out some bats, some witches hats, and a cat, black cat, and then the word boo. And I'm just going to put the, I put a slice, like a cross, with my X-Acto knife. I did a slice for, I'm going to put green lights, put these ping pong balls on the green lights. And I had some green lights left over from Christmas, and it's the Dollar Tree lights that have the little stubby light to them. They're LED. This is the word boo, and because the word boo had the 3 letters, I wanted to use my transfer tape. This is Expressions Vinyl Clear, and after I get this weeded, what I'm going to do is put the transfer tape on top and then get it burnished, and then I'll cut the word boo into 3 different words, and then I'll put those on the ping pong balls also. And if you stick with me, I will show a picture of how this all goes into play here, and you can see what I mean. It's the ping pong lights have been done before. I've seen YouTubers do them, and this was something that I just have always wanted to try. However, during the day they do look a little strange. They just look like ping pong balls on a wreath. So I figured if I added these vinyl words, that would give that, some kind of, a daytime look to the wreath too. But I just love it at night, and you'll see how everything turned out here in just a little bit. And this Expressions vinyl is awesome. I mean, I'm just peeling this right off, and these words are pretty tiny. They're about an inch or so. So here we are now, and I mean, I just love the way that this turned out. This is during the day, and you can see the ping pong balls have the witch's hat and the the bats on them and the words. And it is very sunny out right now, and I'm in Florida, so it's very, very bright. But I'm just bringing you around here just to take a look at how the leaves turned out and what type of dimension that the the ping pong ball lights give to the wreath. And then we'll just pan back here a little bit so you can just see how her hat looks and how her legs look. That gives it the whole thing. And here it is at night, and I absolutely love to that it got this green glow, and it really looks like glow in the dark paint to me, but it's not. I took a battery pack with the little green LED lights from Dollar Tree, and I attached it in the back of the wreath with like a little bungee cord, and then I can turn them on and off at night, and they are battery. So there's no wires connecting from it or anything. And I just go out at night and I turn it on, and I'm just, so excited. And these little mesh like tubes, I put those in, the green mesh tubes. And then there are some roses put in with the eyeballs in them. I found a few of those at Dollar Tree this year. And with the like I said, I do live in Florida, so we're kind of getting dive bombed out here with bugs. But so far, I'm so excited of how it came out. Hey guys, crafting and DIYing is a great outlet for stress and anxiety, along with meditation, manifestation, and mindfulness. I have a free downloadable meditation guide that I'm going to put in the description link down below. It has helped me tremendously, and I just wanted to share it with you. It will be in PDF format, So you'll have to use a PDF reader or something like Adobe or whatever you use to view documents like that. I'm also working on an Amazon logbook for meditation. And when I finish it, I'm going to put it on Amazon.com, and I'll put that link in the description for you below. Thanks for watching my video today. I appreciate you so very much. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this one, and I will see you in the next one.